These are some of the weirdest crimes ever committed. Alligator drive-thru attack. In 2016, a Florida man was arrested for the bizarre offense of throwing an alligator through a Wendy's drive-thru window. The man collected his drink order, waited until an employee's back was turned, and then launched the 3.5-foot alligator into a presumably terrified kitchen. He had found the gator at the side of the road and brought it to the drive-thru in the back of his truck. 5-year-old steals car. An ambitious 5-year-old was found driving his family's SUV down a highway in Utah in 2020 as he set out to buy a sports car. The youngster had been denied a Lamborghini by his parents and, using peak 5-year-old logic, stole the car keys and headed off to buy the supercar himself. His plan was to drive to California, though he had only $3 in his pocket and made it just a few miles before the highway patrol pulled him over. The crossbow thief. This Florida criminal might not be the sharpest tool in the box, having tried to conceal a crossbow down his pants. Not only was the less than subtle concealment caught on camera, the crossbow's shape still clearly visible. Hookup gone wrong. After receiving a late-night hookup call, a New Jersey woman turned up to a man's house late at night only to find she couldn't get inside despite numerous phone calls. Her partner had fallen asleep. In response, she visited a nearby gas station, bought lighter fluid and matches, and burned the place down. Fortunately, the sleepy victim did wake then, escaping by jumping out of a window, but suffered first and second-degree burns in the process. The woman involved was charged with attempted murder. Baby shark. Thieves in Texas decided they wanted to grab, of all things, a shark. To do so, they headed to San Antonio Aquarium, removed a baby shark from the open tank, wrapped it in a towel, and hid it in a baby stroller as their child. It took an hour for the staff to notice the shark's absence, at which point they headed out on a hunt for a vehicle they had identified on camera. Now, incredibly, they recovered the shark in good health. Doorbell licker. In 2019, a man in California found himself with the most unlikely pair of misdemeanor charges for petty theft and prowling. After spending 3 hours looking at total strangers' doorbell, Robert Daniel Arroyo stood and licked while the family's children were asleep inside the house, their parents away. Razor blade pizza. A New Hampshire man was convicted in 2021 for the bizarre crime of pushing razor blades and screws into pizza dough. Nicholas Mitchell had previously worked for the company that made the dough before being fired. He says his aim was not to hurt anybody, and miraculously he didn't. But the level of risk was so high that the judge sentenced him to 4.5 years in prison. He was also ordered to pay $230,000 in damages to the supermarket involved. Unexpected bank robbery. In 2007, Anthony Miller was having some issues at home when he decided to carry out what may well be the world's most peaceful bank robber. Unable to escape his wife, who he said was abusive, controlling, and threatening to commit suicide if he left, Miller walked into a Pennsylvania bank specifically aiming to get himself thrown in jail. Miller didn't threaten anyone. Instead, he held a BB gun and calmly asked the tellers to hand over the money, and then sat down with the cash inside of the bank and insisted they call the police. He got a 3 to 6 year sentence for the offense, though his wife did file for divorce, so he got his way too. Breaking and sleeping over. A couple with 17,000 YouTube subscribers wanted to make a video showing them staying overnight in a Target, so they created a box fort before closing and hid in a store in Pennsylvania. They were always likely to get caught, having recorded their own crime, but pretty much ensured their arrest for the prank when they left before the night was finished, setting off an alarm at 3 a.m. The pair have said they expected to be fined, but may actually face significant prison time for conspiracy. They didn't take anything from the store. Sleepy robber. In 2013, tired thief Dominique Pinkard broke into a house in Lady Lake, Florida in the early morning. He took a break from helping himself to the contents of the house to sit on the sofa. His accomplice departed with the TV and other electronics, but without Pinkard. He was discovered by the owners having fallen fast asleep, his pockets stuffed with jewelry, and charged with burglary and grand theft.